Hi everyone, Scott here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the very last episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, which aired last week. The last episode of the first season. It's called The Beginning of the End. It aired a week ago, so I figured now's a good time to talk about it. But beware, there will be spoilers. I'll be talking about everything, so please don't watch this if you haven't seen the episode already and plan to. The Playground. The Playground is, of course, the new secret base where the new Patton Oswalt character shows up. Him being the twin brother of the Patton Oswalt character from earlier episodes that got killed by Ward. And he greets them in the exact same way, so that's funny as well. But a little bit of a cheat. I appreciate the fact that Patton Oswalt is probably going to be on the show next season as this character. But still, it's just like, oh, he's got an identical twin brother. Great. But yeah, a little bit of a cheat right there. But it is kind of funny because I was thinking in the early episode when he's talking about supervising basically the secret base called Providence, he says he's racking up major Call of Duty hours with his brother. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. What does his brother think that he's doing? I mean, is he like playing at home with his wife and kids? And how is it that Patton Oswalt's able to call him from the secret base without worrying that the call's going to be traced? Because it turns out his brother was alone himself in another secret base doing the exact same thing he was. I guess they figured that out well ahead of time. So where are we? Raina asks Garret a question, what will I become? She's been wanting to ask that question when she thought he was clairvoyant, genuinely clairvoyant, and of course he isn't. But at the end of the previous episode, Garret, of course, took her GH325 substitute, which gives him like extra brain power, I guess, as well as regenerative healing power, that kind of thing. And I don't know what he tells her, but she feels that there's this connection between her and S.H.I.E.L.D, because what she learns is that S.H.I.E.L.D was actually the offspring of non-human creatures. That in China there was an incident when S.H.I.E.L.D was a little baby, where these creatures were basically killing everyone in this village and tearing the place apart looking for her. And of course she was rescued at that time by Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. However, it wasn't because she was a human that was valuable to creatures, is because she was actually a child of these creatures, whatever they are. They don't specify any further than that. So S.H.I.E.L.D isn't human, apparently, and not entirely human anyway. She's got some sort of special ability and we have no idea what it is. But apparently Raina, the woman in the flowery dress, feels like there's some connection with her. Maybe she has sort of like, she comes from the same thing. I don't know. There's some sort of commonality between the two of them. Don't know what it is. Won't find that out perhaps till next season. She's gone. She survived. She ran off with Quinn. Or maybe they both ran off at the same time. I'm not really sure. But Quinn wanted to get out of there with the gravitonium, which he did, leaving Garret and Ward and Mike Peterson to sort of defend the new Miami base for Hydra from the remaining S.H.I.E.L.D guys, from Coulson and his team. Mike Peterson now appears to be free of the control of Hydra from Garret. He has killed people and done bad things, so he's going to try and make up for that. I'm betting we'll probably see him at some point in the future. He might end up working with the S.H.I.E.L.D guys to help him stop more bad guys. Because he never wanted to do that stuff in the first place. He was sort of forced to. Of course, he didn't feel like suicide was an option. He could have disobeyed orders and allowed them to blow a hole in his head so he wouldn't kill any more people. But he didn't do that. He ended up doing what they did in the hopes that he might be able to save his son. And luckily he was reunited with his son at the end of the show, because his son was being held captive by Hydra at what they call their incentives program, which is all these people operating the computers that control the Centipede soldiers. They each have had family members or people that they care about abducted, and that's why they are being sort of, forced into working for them. So that was kind of cool right there. What happened with Fitz and Simmons. Well, Simmons survived, of course, but Fitz might be the worse for wear. He might have brain damage from having his brain been deprived of oxygen so much. They escape from the little capsule ejected from the bus, sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Apparently the ocean isn't that deep because they were only like 90 feet down. And they get rescued, of course, by Nick Fury, which means that Simmons knows Fury is alive. Coulson, May, and probably Skye too. I don't know about Ward. No. Ward might not know that Fury's alive, because he wasn't there to see Fury show up at the big battle at the end right there. Incidentally, there was a lot of talk between Coulson and Fury as they were being shot at that seemed kind of unrealistic. But then Fury gives him like the big vaporizer from the Avengers, the one that Coulson used to put Loki through the wall, and so he blasts away a bunch of soldiers that way. And then, of course, they get the upper hand on Garret. Mike Peterson learns that Hydra doesn't have his son in custody anymore, so he turns on Garret, blasts him, and then, of course, Garret, for some reason, they put him right next to the Centipede Soldier Maker machine. And I think they might have done that just so that he could climb up on there and get the armaments put on him so that they'd have an excuse to blow him away. I don't know. Anyway, Garret is most definitely gone. Ward is not gone. Ward is still be around. He got truly thrashed by May, and so he's been put back into whatever it is. But yeah, we'll probably see him in later seasons as well. Don't know at this point. But yeah, he could come back as a bad guy, or maybe eventually come around and be an ally. I guess we'll find out. Maybe he will become like the Spike of this show. We'll see. Some of the good lines that I enjoyed here are, again, Garrett's. When Quinn is talking with military guys, and there's all this shooting going on in the background, and he's just like, you know, he says to him, "I beg you, just hear me out, and we'll show you how this will benefit the government." And Garret walks in and says, "Don't beg, you're not a Rottweiler." And then later on, when Mike Peterson, you know, the base is under attack, Mike Peterson says, "I'm not leaving your side, Garret." And Garret smiles at him and says, "I love you too." That's a good one. Bill Paxton always has some good lines in here. So yeah, right now it's Skye and Simmons and May and Coulson and Triplet. I guess Triplet's going to be part of their team from now on. And they're all at this new base called the Playground, where apparently they're going to start rebuilding S.H.I.E.L.D. from scratch, because at the end of the episode, Fury names Coulson as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. So now S.H.I.E.L.D's going to be a much stronger organization, a smaller organization, run by S.H.I.E.L.D., run by Coulson, which raises the question whether or not going to be spending any more time on the bus from now on. If there's going to be some sort of base of operations that Coulson is going to be running S.H.I.E.L.D. out of, what form is the show going to take place? Are they going to be jetting around on the bus every week like they were during the first season? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. So we are going to have a second season, of course, in addition to another series called Marvel's Agent Carter, which is all about the Haley Atwell character from Captain America. And I presume that this will not be a crossover series because it's going to take place after the events of the first Captain America movie, before any of the other stuff happens, because, you know, obviously she still needs to be a relatively young person and not 90 years old or however old she is in The Winter Soldier. I don't know, we'll see about that. Some people that I've read online have complained about the show being overly cheesy and the whole villain of the week thing. The show, for me, I enjoy the show, but not really for its action or for its effects, which admittedly are really, really cheesy. You know, some of the CGI involving power rays and mist and what have you just sort of reminds me a lot of stuff that I'd see in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman from the 90s, or perhaps shows like Smallville or Charmed, shows like that in which the artifice of the effects are very, very apparent. I enjoy the show for the story, for the writing, for the characters, for the dialogue, and, you know, on the most part for the acting as well. I think that's where its strengths lie with any Joss Whedon show. Because, let's face it, Buffy, Angel, these were shows that had plenty of cheese to them as far as, like, you know, supernatural myths and vampires exploding. None of that really looked real, you know. I mean, there are plenty of shows that I could name that are much more cinematic that, have a more real look to them, you know, where the lighting is more subtle. It's just a more, yeah, it just works better. It goes down smoother. Whereas there's a definite cheese factor with the show. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it though. There are a few episodes that I liked a heck of a lot. Although I'd say that the last episode isn't one of my absolute favorite episodes, you know, like any other episode, it does have its moments. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing the episode by episode videos next fall when the new season starts. I don't know at this point. Maybe not, but who knows? We'll see. If I'm inspired enough, maybe I will, just because I want to tell everyone how great the show is. But I doubt it needs my help. It's got plenty of people watching it, I'm sure. It did get a second season after all, so it can't be doing too badly. That's it for now. I'd like to thank everyone who has commented and watched these videos that I've been doing on the show, especially PuckPond007, who's commented on practically every one of the videos that I've done. Again, the best place to comment is on my Facebook page because my channel isn't connected with Google+. So responding to comments on the actual YouTube is, you know, kind of a pain. But Facebook is a good place to do it. You can watch the videos there and comment right there. Very, very easy. And if you do watch the videos on Facebook, you don't need to click the link and take you back to YouTube. You can actually just hit play on the actual screen grab from the video. And it'll play right there on the Facebook page, and you can just write your comment below. That makes things a lot easier. I didn't discover that until like a few weeks ago. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. Hope you've enjoyed the series. I have, for the most part. You know, it's not my favorite Joss Whedon series at this point. It's still Buffy. Buffy's still my favorite. But, you know, I mean, it's hard to top Buffy. It's really hard. So yeah, please let me know what you think of the show and whether or not you'd like me to continue on with this series next fall. We'll see. Thanks again, guys. Later.